Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the show. You know, on today's episode, we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that is giving back. Giving back to your community, giving back to others in need. And I feel personally like giving to people is really part of the recipe of sustainable success. I think it's necessary. But in giving, I also believe there has to be guidelines. If somebody's in a real need and you're in a position to help them, I think that it's our responsibility to get involved and help them. But over a period of time, when you see the next generation coming, or let's say their children coming with a handout, feeling entitled, then I think the overall system is broken. Today we're actually interview a very successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, and also founder of the Freedom and Virtue Institute, Mr. Ismael Hernandez is on the show. Sharp guy. He's going to really tell us the guidelines of giving properly and how to make the most impact in our communities. We're also going to be talking with fitness expert and trainer, Mr. Davy Jones. We'll see what he has for us. For entrepreneurs on the go, like myself. And we're also going to be joined by the lovely Miss Margot Bush as our co-host. Stick around, we'll be right back. We got an amazing show.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's, now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
When visiting Gulf Shores, Alabama, make sure to visit the Gulf Coast Zoo, home of the little zoo that could from Animal Planet. Get up close in our petting zoo. Enjoy our unique animal encounters. More than 300 monkeys, bears, reptiles, big cats, parrots, and more call a Gulf Coast home. Come on, go wild at the Alabama Gulf Coast Zoo.
Clean teeth. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the show. I'm joined by the lovely Margot Bush. Miss Margot, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel great, and I'm going to tell you
You look
why.
great. I have to tell you that.
Thank you, thank you.
I haven't seen you for a while.
I know. Well, it's because of, and we're going to talk to him in a minute, our fitness trainer. I am down 15 pounds.
15 pounds, that is
And I'm going for another 30 days, 15 pounds.
30 days, 15 pounds. That sounds dangerous, but hey, what the heck?
It's not. You know what? If you eat healthy, I'm telling you, if you eat healthy, it's not dangerous. It's easy.
Well, whatever you're doing is working, and we kind of had a period of time where I didn't see you, but we did spend a little time together. Sunday.
Yes. Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Yeah, it was Saturday. We went to the oyster cook-off.
There was an oyster cook-off in our area, and there was probably a good 150 vendors with their oysters, and I'm always like this little guy on Margot's shoulder. I'm always trying to get her to try new things and do stuff that she doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to take any risks, eat anything new.
I'm not a risk taker
so
when it comes to
I'm always
food.
pushing her, and Margot had her first oyster. She's never had an oyster. There was some coaxing, but you did finally have an oyster. And it actually took Marty Duncan from the Food Network Star. They had people from the Food Network there, and all of us ganged up on Margot until she ate an oyster.
And I'm telling you what, it was fabulous.
Yeah, it was fabulous.
It was smoked, and the first thing that I asked, though, is it cooked?
It wasn't cooked, but we just told you it was.
Well, you've done that a lot. I mean, he will literally tell me things. He'll go, Margot, you should try this. And I go, no, I'm not trying to.
It was liquid smoke.
And he'll just get this real serious face, and he's completely lying. But I believe it, and he'll go, no, I'm telling you, it is really good.
Well, I have to tell you,
remember
we were in Africa, And we were staying with this host.
This was the worst.
And so she asked me if I ate lengua, which is cow tongue. And I said, sure, I'll try anything twice. So anyways, she slices up some cow tongue, and it was unbelievable. It was so good. And I told Margot, I said, Margot, I knew she would never eat it if I told her what it was. So I said, Margot,
no, I wouldn't.
You have to try this roast beef. It's the best roast beef I've ever had. And so she's like, are you sure, Dan? And I'm straight faced like, this roast beef is phenomenal.
He's such a good liar. I'm telling you, he's such a good liar.
So she actually eats it, and she went bananas. I mean, she couldn't get enough of it. So
it was so
She was telling everybody, have you tried the roast beef in Africa? It's absolutely phenomenal.
It was so good.
And so anyways, we're getting on the flight to come home, and she's smuggling a container of this meat. And I said, what are you doing? You can't go through customs with a box of meat.
Well, we were going to be on the plane.
Their customs, you could.
We were going to be on the plane for a very long time.
So I needed to have her throw it away. And so I told her, I said, you know, honestly, let me tell you, she wouldn't part with it. So I had to say, let me tell you what this is. And when I told her, she looked a little green. And then I said, come on, man, you've been eating it all day.
Cow tongue.
But I love doing that to you.
You just can't eat cow tongue. I just couldn't. It went in the trash.
Well, but oysters, you can't live unless you eat oysters.
They were great.
Whatever you're doing, it looks great. It's obviously working. Keep up the good work. I know you've been working a lot with Davy Jones, who's kind of he's become our Tuesdays with Dan trainer / nutritionist. And as you know, we've been doing a segment on the show where he kind of runs by and shares us some quick tips for the entrepreneur on the go. Not just
I think it's great.
Workout, but nutrition tips. So let's welcome him now and see what Davy Jones has in his locker. Mr. Davy Jones. Going home to you, hey, my friend. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fabulous. Super.
Oh, I have to say, I know I mentioned this before, but a while back we were at the beach and I ran into you with your shirt off. And I was like, okay, I've hired this guy for a reason, because sometimes we think that the discipline it takes to work out and to eat healthy is tough.
Sure.
But the price of like not feeling comfortable taking your shirt off at the beach, nothing's worth that. And then I saw you having all this fun and I was like,
beach volleyball.
That's it.
It's what we do. And, you know, I go outside and live. That's what I do, and I play beach volleyball. So I was at the beach. It's what I do, and it fills my what I like to call like my hobby. Somebody's like, beach volleyball, that's exercise. To me, that's my hobby. It's what I enjoy doing. So I exercise throughout the week so I can go out and live and enjoy my hobby. So, you know, you caught me at a good time. So, yeah, it was.
Well, it looked like you were having fun, and I noticed maybe you had a few beers afterwards. So there's nothing wrong with a little reward.
No, you know, it's beach volleyball. It burns a lot of calories. You're out in the sun, you know, and I'd worked hard all week, so. I'd really like to enjoy a beverage. It's stress reduction. So, you know, you have your 4 pillars of health and wellness. You have anaerobic conditioning, which is resistance training, which is what you guys do with Davy Jones with extreme results.
I know well.
You do your cardiovascular training with your heart rate monitor, your cardiovascular, which is your aerobic training. You do your flexibility, your you know, you're really doing yoga, and you know, we always talk about stretching and really working your muscles, you know, getting stretched out, which actually allows for your body to prevent injury.
Right.
And the last part is stress reduction. And stress reduction is having a beer, or last week when we had Craig with the margaritas, and it's whatever.
Glass of wine.
Or glass of wine. I'm a glass of wine guy, you know. It's water, it's wine for me. And
so if you deprive yourself and you're like, I'm never going to be able to eat chocolate again.
Then
I'm never going to be able to have. That's when you start playing. You feel crazy, and you're like, that's it. And that's when you break.
In my little packets, I even have. They even allows chocolate, little square chocolate.
Sure, absolutely. And then you can even actually have a post-workout chocolate shake that, to me, this is ice cream. I mean, you just blend this up, put some ice in it, stick it in the fridge, and or stick it in the freezer, and you want a little chocolate, oh, there you go.
Awesome.
And it's not about tricking your mind. It's just about developing your mind to be the best you can possibly be.
There you have it from Davy Jones' Locker. Give him a hand. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with entrepreneur and philanthropist, Mr. Ismael Hernandez. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge. Nolan's, now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
Real estate today offers incredible opportunities, low prices, and extremely low interest rates. Hi, I'm Amy Norris from Amy Sells the Beach. Right now, there are opportunities in all areas. Our team can help you put your money to work finding your dream or investment property. And if you're looking to sell, no one can give you better exposure to buyers and make your property stand out. Experience matters when looking for opportunity. I'm Amy Norris. See why we're #1 at amysellsthebeach.com.
Hi, I'm Dan Vega, business coach and host of the business talk show, Tuesdays with Dan. You know, every year I receive numerous requests for coaching and mentorship. I'm pleased to announce you can now access our fully interactive coaching website from your home, office, or phone. This amazing new resource includes valuable sales and marketing training, money management secrets, financial advice, real estate tips, tax guidance, time management tips, author and speaker coaching, plus much, much more, including downloadable CDs and streaming videos. Regardless of the nature or size of your business, you'll find this cutting-edge information not only invaluable, but amazingly affordable. For less than $2 a week, you'll have full access to over 2 decades of my business coaching and experience. I'm so confident that you'll increase both your personal and business success that I would like to offer you a free 30-day trial membership. There's no obligation and you can cancel at any time. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. My next guest is a very successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, and he's also the founder of the Freedom and Virtue Institute. Please welcome Ismael Hernandez. Hey, my friend. How are you? Thank you. It's a real pleasure for having you. Appreciate you coming up for the show. And first of all, I want to kind of get right into it. I know we had breakfast this morning, yes. And we really got into it because a lot of your ideas about philanthropy and giving back are right in line with the way I believe too. And as you know, we talked this morning. I do a lot of philanthropy work. I kind of feel like giving back is actually a crucial part of the recipe for sustainable success. And when you see people that hit success and they do things right. But they don't want to ever give back. They don't remember how they got there. They don't help others, mentor others. Generally, for some reason, their success doesn't stay around very long. And I also believe there's one of the most pleasurable things you can do is give. And I know you feel the same way, but as we talked, there's a difference between somebody in a real need situation where, if you're in a position, you write them a check and you help out, or if you're in a position for their cause, you do what you got to do. But at the same time, over a period of time, when you see their children come back saying, hey, what can I get? Then that shows you that the system is kind of broken. There's an entitlement almost. And I know that you deal also with a lot of minority groups. And, sometimes there is an entitlement there as well, which I'm familiar with. Let me ask you a question. First of all, let's talk a little bit about your background. Yes. Coming here, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, my father was a founding member of the Communist Party of Puerto Rico. He was one of 12 men who, in 1959, created the Socialist Party, which was a Marxist-Leninist party. And I remember my father used to tell us that America was the enemy of humanity, and it was my sacred duty as a good person to destroy this country and to destroy capitalism. So I grew up in that kind of environment. Yeah.
You love your parents. And
very active in the Socialist Party, left an extensive FBI record, which I have at home through the Freedom of Information Act. So I grew up believing America is evil, it's my duty to destroy this country, and I will do that. Eventually I joined the Communist Party myself. I was very active in the organization.
Well, there's so many people, you know, you're raised a certain way. I know a lot. At one point, I spent a little time in Louisiana, and just being Hispanic, I was exposed to a lot of prejudice. And I always felt bad because a lot of it was just ignorance. They were raised in a certain household that thought that, you know, this certain race or this certain gender was not equal. And they weren't bad people. They were just ignorant because they were raised in that atmosphere, and that's a similar thing to what you're talking about.
It's very interesting because eventually I joined the Jesuit order. I was going to be a Catholic priest, and this is the 1980s because the Jesuits were all socialists in Latin America. That's why I joined the order. Eventually I left the Jesuit order because they did not send us to Nicaragua, to Sandinista Nicaragua, because 9 Jesuits had been murdered in El Salvador. And frustrated, I left seminary, and that's when I decided to come to America, to come to what we call the guts of the monster.
Yeah, the guts of the monster.
And I came to study political science at the University of Southern Mississippi, of all places, where I thought that all my frustrations and ideas about America were going to be realized. And, however, I always say that that's when my lungs were filled with freedom. When I came to this country, still a communist, and began to experience reality in this country, what this country is all about. In deep south, in Mississippi, I discovered that most people, whatever their color, are decent, law-abiding, good people. And America taught me what freedom is.
Yeah, and I know you've kind of devoted your life now to giving back, and you not only help everybody, but particularly minorities that kind of have been brought up in similar situations or maybe never had an opportunity to kind of get out there and achieve success. But also, I wanted to get your thoughts on, when it comes to giving, you kind of feel like socialism doesn't work.
It doesn't work because it forgets the individual person.
Right.
Only the individual person makes choices. Groups do not make choices. You know, sometimes we label people white, blacks, rich, poor. Those are totally meaningless labels because you can only look at one person. I don't know how white people think. If I get to know a white person, I get to know how that person thinks. The same with blacks, the same with others. Every time we box ourselves in these meaningless labels, we hurt the person.
Right. Well, and we were discussing this morning, but you know, I came out of a tough neighborhood in Los Angeles area, mostly Hispanic or African American, and you know, I was raised in a family that, you know, my parents were amazing people. They provided a living for us, but never really achieved great financial success. And when I started going out of the home front and really trying to learn from people and learn how to hone my skills and get alliances, and the kids in the neighborhood would say, like, okay, Mr. Tony Robbins, and you know, the next thing you're going to do is change your name to Dan Meadows, because if you translate Meadows or Vega into English, it's Meadows, and they would act like I wasn't proud to be Hispanic, and I would tell them, I'd say, you know, it's not that I'm not proud to be Hispanic, I just don't want what the average Hispanic has, you know. And what I noticed, and over the years I've been asked to mentor, you know, the Latin community, and what I've noticed about a lot of those minorities is they actually think labor. I mean, I would tell them, look, they think cut grass, wash dishes, and which we all did, but that's what they've observed out of habit. That's what they've observed, and that's kind of the way they think.
Well, America taught me one thing that is very important is the connection between reward and accomplishment.
Right, that's right.
That has to be a connection that can never be severed. Every time you have reward without accomplishment, you're creating a problem. And if you see that connection and that connection is real, then you help the individual person to achieve. When that happens, wealth comes. You see yourselves as a wealth creator instead of a job pursuer. Sometimes in our community we say, we don't have jobs, what the government is doing. That's the wrong question. What are we doing to create the jobs for our people and forget about what the government is doing? And the government is many times the problem, not the solution.
Yeah. And I want to talk briefly about the Institute, the Freedom and Virtue Institute. Tell us a little bit about their cause and what you're doing.
4 years ago, frustrated after 20 years working in minority communities and seeing what you described, the families come for food, and then in 10 years you see their children coming for food.
Right.
I was part of a cycle of dependency. I was hurting people by giving them stuff.
Right.
You know, the spirit of poor communities cannot breathe under the weight of the free stuff we dump at them. So we decided to leave that and begin an institute that teaches principles. A lot of stuff is being done in minority communities. Well, are they being done with the right principles? Principles that uplift the human person, teach hard work, discipline, self-reliance, the entrepreneurial vocation.
Get out of the entitlement mindset.
Exactly. So that is what we need, and that's what we offer. Training on what we call effective compassion. And we have model projects like the Self-Reliance Club, where black kids get savings accounts, they work, they earn, they buy their own school supplies. Instead of someone just giving them the handout, they can stand tall and say, you know, I earned this, it's mine.
Feel proud.
Absolutely. You don't strengthen the self-esteem of people to then make them achieve. You help them achieve, and that strengthens their self-esteem. And that's exactly what we try to do.
Well, it's a great point, and you know, you're doing so much for your community. I know you have 12 people on the board, is that right?
Yeah, we have a board of 12 scholars who are doing research on the interaction between freedom and virtue, which is simply discipline, self-discipline, and the problems of the inner city, to find solutions, market-based solutions instead of government-based solutions.
Yeah. When did you get started with the Institute?
The Institute started 4 years ago.
4 years?
We started with no money at the height of the economic crisis.
Oh,
and
yeah,
yes,
08.
08. And we decided this is the time, because in times of crisis, radical choices and decisions are needed to help people, to show people that freedom works.
That's right.
And we left without a penny and began to build the organization, and we have more than survived, and now we're growing. We are just teaching people that things can be done if you have a dream and you pursue that dream. You don't have to be dependent on government to be successful.
Well, and earlier you mentioned just a simple mind shift. I know that you had said that you had worked with different organizations that had gardens.
Yes.
Right? And then just simply saying, you know, don't look at it as a garden, look at it as a farm.
Exactly.
Because a farm actually can bring something back in. And then in a very short period of time, just that simple shift of looking at it that way, they're growing their own vegetables, it's becoming sustainable now, and really teaching some lifelong sustainable principles.
In our Self-Reliance Club, the kids, as I said, they work on entrepreneurial initiatives, and one of them is urban farming. And we go to the schools, we don't create any new program. We look at what the school is doing, and we change the meaning of what people are doing. You know, when you have a garden, it's something nice you have in the backyard, but it doesn't convey the idea of wealth creation. The farm does. When you see yourself as producing wealth, and then that wealth is good for you and your family, there's nothing wrong with wealthy people. We are hurting the entrepreneur, we hurt poor people. You don't help the poor by attacking the rich.
Right, because they're the ones that have a lot of times hold the knowledge and the success principles to not only help, but in a financial situation, they're the ones that also are in a position to help.
Absolutely, and they are the ones who create the jobs that you depend on, and they are the ones who create the wealth and the opportunities for you to also become one day wealthy. Those who attack the rich are sometimes rich themselves.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I say they are bored in affluence. They have nothing else to do, so they attack their own kind.
That's right.
But look at the societies where there are no rich people. What do you have? You have poverty. If you want to equalize poverty, and attacking the rich, and that's what you get.
That's right. Well, and the other side of the spectrum too is, you know, a lot of times if you look at the poor, you know, people will associate greed a lot of times with rich people, and they say, well, they're greedy and look at that. But I know people that a lot of times when you don't have anything, that's the real situation where you really covet and say, I want the big house and I want the this and that. And the people that have money, sometimes it's just the car they happen to be able to can afford to drive. It's just the house they can afford to they're not making such a big deal about it. But I think there's really finding that balance. And as you said, it kind of, when they take an action and they see that result coming in and they say, wow, this is working, then that belief system of saying, hey, I actually have a chance to be successful. I can do it. And I was telling you, I've worked with some minorities where they would come to, I would say, I'm trying to help you, and I would train them, and they'd say, I feel like I'm more passionate about this than you are, and I'm the one mentoring you.
Yes.
And they say, well, why do you care about me? I mean, what's in it for you? And I would say, well, nothing's in it for me. I'm trying to help you. What's in it for me is you know, what it feels like to be able to help somebody, and knowing that I came from. And there was a mistrust there in the beginning of saying, like, well, I don't understand why you're even helping me, and why would anybody care about me? And that's a real shift that has to change.
You know, you mentioned greed. Greed is in the human heart. It's not in any system or any class of people. It's in the human heart. What we call greed on the rich, we should call envy sometimes among those who don't have. Because you look at the one who has and you want it, and you then start attacking him because he has it and you don't. So you want someone to come and confiscate their property and give it to you.
Right.
That's greed. But we don't call it like that. We call it social justice. You know?
Yeah.
In other words, I can steal from you, and I call it social justice, but if you steal, then you're greedy and you're evil. And that is the problem we have. We don't see ourselves as wealth creators, and we attack those who create wealth. That's a twisted mindset that does not help us get out of poverty.
Well, and I know you have numerous supporters and people that are getting involved with your cause.
Yes,
you're doing a lot of good, and we really appreciate you helping out your community. I feel like I could talk to you all day, but we're out of time. And listen, that's our show. For more of our interview with Ismael, go to our website. He's going to give us some real valuable tools about giving. And don't forget, again, to get involved in your local community and be forgiving of others. Good night, everybody.